Hi, my name is Shanthini Venugopal, and I've been in the performing arts industry for the last 25 odd years. I wasn't always in the performing arts. I started off actually after I came back from Canada. I got a degree in Bachelor of Business Administration, majoring in marketing, and my very first job was with New Straits Times. Now, from then on, it has always been moving on in different industries, only because that's what something that came about, an opportunity that came, I just grabbed it. And that's what I always do. I never say no to a job because I feel there is always something I can learn from it. And so for about 10 years, I was working 9 to 5. And then I met some people and we started Instant Cafe Theatre Company in 1989. Yes, 1989. And from then on, I started doing theatre full-time because I felt that even in that 10 years that I was working 9 to 5 jobs, I still did theatre, but always in the evenings. So I felt when Instant Cafe came along, it was an opportunity for us to actually do it full time because people were willing to pay for us to perform. Most of the times in that 10 years, sometimes I did it for free, sometimes I did it for very little money. So it was never about the money. It was just about the job. It was just about the opportunity that I got in the performing arts. I also do, besides acting, I sing and I do voiceovers. Actually, anything and everything in the performing arts, emceeing job, whatever. I mean, everything is about being out there, presenting yourself, and so, yeah. That's how I got into the arts. Now, being in the performing arts is so different from doing 9 to 5 jobs, mainly because you get the opportunity to do what you, first of all, love. I love being in the arts. And being able to express yourself in various ways, whether it is in acting or whether it is storytelling. I do a lot of storytelling, singing. All that is an expression of myself. That's what I really, really love. Unfortunately, in this country, it's not always that you get to do this as a full-time job. But I was blessed enough to be with Instant Cafe, and that gave us the opportunity to carry on being in the arts, doing things that we love. Actually, in Instant Cafe, we do satire, and people loved it because we saw the lighter side of politics and social issues. Like, for example, give you an example, in I can't remember the years, never mind that, somewhere in the 90s, it was said that Malaysia was the highest, had the highest number of obese people. So we thought, Malaysia, highest in obese? So we wrote a song. And what we normally do is we take a well-known song and we just change the words. So for obesity, we started with, we eat all the time, discuss dinner at lunchtime, supper at stalls with friends, eat banana leaf with hands, lick your chopsticks also can. So that's how we changed the word, and the song is from Beauty and the Beast. Our last line is, beauty is obese. So that's what we normally do with the songs. And then, of course, the news items. The news items, we take it straight from the newspapers. So we don't make it up. We don't make up any of the news. We use the news that is being put out there by the mainstream media, and we do skits. So we did a lot of satire for many, many, many years. We were normally hired by corporates or NGOs or Bar Council. Oh, they were our biggest supporter. They used to get us for every annual meeting, annual event that they had. Banks. It's people who related or who understood what satire was. We were once accused when we were doing a public show. Somebody stood up in the audience and said, "Why are you airing our dirty laundry," or whatever they said, I can't remember for quote, but "why are you airing dirty laundry in public?" And she just got up and she marched out of there. And we just carried on with the show, because everybody is entitled to an opinion. And if you don't want to sit there and listen to us, you're always welcome to leave. And this was a public show, so she actually paid money to come and watch us. But she obviously was not clued in as to exactly what we did. And yeah, so c'est la vie. With theatre nowadays, we have actually a lot more younger generation getting into it, doing it also full time, which I'm very, very, very happy to see, because that's what is needed. It's not old fogies like us still carrying on. We still do our work and we still do it very well, don't get me wrong, but it's with the younger generation, their new ideas, and I've seen quite a few works of people who are writing their own material, performing, also putting in satire, which is very good, because that's the way of handling a topic that is sometimes considered sensitive. And the sensitive is absolute nonsense, because there is nothing to be sensitive about. It either is or it isn't. So to me, it's very clear cut. But anyway, the people nowadays, what I would say is they should invest in their skill. That means do workshops, go and watch plays, do workshops with people who are of a certain caliber and who will be giving you information that you can use, that will help you hone your skills. And that is very, very important. Even me, at my age, I still go for workshops. I still go and listen to people giving talks about theatre, about their skills, what they have learned. And that's how you also pick up from them. That's the best way to do it. So never say that you know everything, because you don't know everything. There is so much out there. There are so many people coming up with different creative ways of presenting theatre, presenting shows. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. I've seen some lovely, lovely performances, and I'm so glad that we live in these times. But of course, with the what shall I say, the virus that happened. And so that caused quite a bad decline in the performing arts, because we were the ones that were hit really bad. I mean, there were a lot of other industries that were hit, please don't get me wrong, but the performing arts was definitely, I know my friends who found it hard to make a living, because what else can you do? What we do is we are out there performing to an audience. Now, if you don't have that audience, yes, you can do it on Zoom. I did storytelling on Zoom to America, to India, to a few other places. They contacted me. But it's a totally different feeling. I mean, it's so weird because I'm talking to the screen and I feel I'm only talking to myself because I don't see the rest of the people. They're all there, but they're all muted. And I don't see them on the screen because the hosts don't put them on the screen to distract me. So I only see myself. But it's very, very odd. It's a very odd feeling. I did it, but I definitely would not want to do it again. I did it a couple of times just to give it a try, but I didn't enjoy it that much. Yeah. Now, to say what we foresee for the future always changes. Things always change. So the situation right now is still COVID this and COVID that, but things will change because people will start realizing what it really is and will understand what it is. And so I hope that the performing arts will just keep getting better and better and better because with all these young talent, they have so much to give. They have so much to express. So I am sure it will always be moving forward as long as everything stays the same. But like I said, things always change. And the thing about performing arts is we are willing to change along with it. We find new ways of presenting ourselves, not just on Zoom. Now that I'm recalling, I'm trying to think of an example, but it doesn't come to my mind. But there are ways that actors, singers, whomever are involved in the performing arts, they are thinking very creatively how to adapt to the situation. That's what we do very well, adapt to any situation that we're given. Performing arts is something that is very important to every individual. It's not just people who are in the industry, it's to every individual, especially students. In my days, when I went to school, theatre, singing, all that was part of our curriculum. Unfortunately now, with the education system, they do not include that. Now, why would it matter that they do it? When they don't do it, they don't have a way to express themselves. It's all academia. Study, read from books, memorize, and regurgitate. Theatre is very different. You don't regurgitate anything. You experience it, you feel it, and you act on it. And people tell me, oh, but I'm not an actor. Oh, I can't sing. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. Okay, all this can't is all in the head. It's all in the mind. If you give them a way to express themselves and you do it through theatre, you play games. In theatre, we play a lot of games. In playing those games, they don't realize, the students don't realize, they're actually learning something. How to, like I get this from a lot of parents, my child is very shy. Can you make him become an extrovert? No, I cannot. I cannot do that. But what I will do is I will teach them skills in a way that is not teaching them, oh, this is how it is. Okay, better learn this by heart. No, theatre is not like that. You actually do it and you feel it and it comes out. Really, it does. I've seen that. I've done so many workshops and so happy to say that we were sometimes behind the students taking up performing arts as a full-time career. They went on to university, did it at bachelor's level, at master's, at PhD level, because they were given something that they always had. Everybody has it. It's just that whether a lot of people are scared of change. And maybe that's why I am the way I am, because I'm not scared of change. I always think of change as an opportunity for me to do something for myself to become more of me, if that makes any sense. And so I really wish that the Education Ministry would bring it back into the school system. If you go to an international school, you're very blessed because they have it as part of their curriculum. I've taught at international schools as well. But for the SK schools, the only thing that I've done is, not the only thing, but the thing that I've done is I was given the opportunity by CIMB Foundation, SP Satya, a couple of other, MAB, Malaysian Airports. They got me involved going to various schools all over Malaysia, including Sabah and Sarawak, and I did a program which I initiated and told them about, is teaching English through storytelling. So I went to all these different schools, but I only could do one level because I'm one person, and if it was something that I had to do it, there was, for MAB, I did it for 12 schools. So I can't do all levels. So I concentrated on 9-year-olds, so they were year 3. I felt they were not too young and they were not in their teenage years where they can sometimes think, oh, I know better than the teacher, that kind of attitude. So it was very interesting that they actually learned English through storytelling, because I tell them the story, I make them act out the story. It's always very interactive. My storytelling is always interactive. I don't sit there with a book and I read like that. No. I tell the story and then we stop, and then I ask, is there any word that you don't understand? If nobody says anything, which in most schools they don't, they're all told to shut up, I say, okay, do you know what this word means? And then I'll say, just give me your answers, don't worry. Don't worry about right and wrong. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. So then they come out then they slowly start talking. And by the time I finished my sessions with that school, for MAB, I did it for 2.5 years. The teachers themselves told me, the students are so much more open. They ask questions. They're not scared. Those students that I had interaction with, because you have to give them the safety of being wrong, because they always, if they get something wrong, it is not wrong in the way they think it's wrong. It is wrong because in the meaning or whatever, but I like them to come up with their own ideas. Sometimes they come up with some bizarre ideas, and it's really fun. I find it a lot of fun doing these classes, because these children, when they are not inhibited, they really bloom, and I've seen that in a lot of the kids. And I guess that's why I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I will hope to continue doing this until the day I die. And that's what I want to tell young people. Don't stop trying. Don't stop any opportunities that come by. Don't just forget about it. See what you can gain from it. And for theatre people, like I said earlier, hone your skills. Learn. always learn, always go in with an open mind. Whatever it is that you're doing in theatre or in acting, singing, dancing, whatever, just go in with an open mind and you will be surprised. You will surprise yourself and you will surprise the person who is facilitating that particular workshop. Coming to which, I also, besides doing all this, I also happen to write a book. Now, how that book came about, I was doing a performance called Jumping Jelly Beans Party. Now, the reason we had a party for Jumping Jelly Beans, that's the name of my company, by the way, is because it was 10 years and we decided to do a performance. So what better title than to call it a party? We did it in a theatre, and it starts off with us dragging these, pretending that these are very heavy garbage bags that we're pulling in. And then we open it up and it's actually boxes, presents that we have received from our fans. Actually, the boxes are empty, yeah? Okay, but so we pretend, yes. So they're empty boxes, but they're all presents, and we were so excited that, we have this audience here to celebrate with us. And so we start the show in that manner. It carries on. We do a lot of comédie dell'arte, a lot of, for Jumping Jelly Beans, a lot of comedy in the performance, so that it's interesting for younger audiences as well. Not so much slapstick, but some slapstick. And so we carried on with the show, and there came a point when Ilaria, my fellow actor, had to put up these boxes that we received on a shelf. The shelves were empty. Now, these boxes were all colorfully wrapped up, and they were in that neon colors, the bright green and bright yellow and bright pink. But in theatre, we don't go up on stage and start putting up boxes for no reason. There has to be a reason. So we were trying to think, we tried out different things. And then at one point I looked at Ilaria and I said, what if I go into the audience and we come up with a story that relates to something that's happening on stage? And she said, yeah, okay, let's try that. So we tried different stories, but nothing was working. Nothing felt right. It didn't gel. One day she was late for the rehearsals because her child she had to do something for her child. And I was sitting in the coffee shop. We were rehearsing at Five Arts Center. At that time they were in Tamantun. Next door there's a nice little coffee shop. And I was having my Nescafe C Kosong, that's my favorite. And as I was just sitting there and I was just thinking about it, and I said, these are very colorful boxes, okay? But I said, hey, wait a minute. Jelly beans are also colorful. Now, let us try and tie these two things together. These boxes are colorful, jelly beans are colorful. Now, why are jelly beans colorful? So I said, okay, that's where I start. So I just took a napkin and I started writing. About how jelly beans had no color to begin with at the beginning of time. And I just wrote out the story in like 15-20 minutes. Just something that I felt was like a skeleton and we could work on it. And so when Ilaria came, she said, hey, this is a great idea. Yes, that's why when I put this box up, because you say blue, and I put up blue, and then when you say green, I put up green. I said, that's right. So how did jelly beans get their color? It's from nature. In my story, it's called Why Jelly Beans Are Colorful. And when I wrote the story, I had no intention of of publishing a book. This was a story that was needed for this performance. Funnily enough, we don't usually videotape our performances because they cost too much money to hire videographers and to do that. But I happened to see something in the newspaper that there was this new company that had set up, and they wanted to offer it at a very, very, very low price, have 2 cameras and all that. So I contacted them, and so we got it taped. My very first performance that we got it taped professionally. I mean, otherwise people in the audience, they videograph it, but it's never the same. So we got it on tape, on CD. And I was giving it out to people, randomly, not really in a structured manner. And when I went to the States in 2017, I took along a copy of this video and the CD. And I showed it to a friend of mine. We were staying in their house in Maine. And the whole family was gathered there, and we played the CD, and they loved it because it's very funny, it's light, but it's also it's good for not just children, it's also for adults. These were all adults in that room, and they loved it. They said, "This is so lovely, it's so creative, it's so funny, it's so everything." And then one of the older sister, Fran, she looks at me and she says, Shanthini, that story that when you go into the audience and tell the children, I said, yeah. She said, that will make a really good children's book. And I said, huh? I said, it's such a short story. And she said, yeah, it's a short story, but it's got so much meaning. It's about how nature helps the jelly beans and how the jelly beans also help nature. And it's about all this interaction about the environment. I said, oh, I never looked at it that way. And I thought, okay. I mean, she put the seed in my head. I came back to Malaysia and I said, interesting, maybe. And I looked at my story again. And I wrote it out again. No, I didn't write it out again. I just started dividing it into slots that I thought would make a page. The thing about who is going to illustrate it, I tried asking illustrators, professional illustrators, but my book is too little, too what shall I say, not enough for them to actually want to commit. So I said, okay, I can't draw for nuts. My dog looks like a horse, my horse looks like a camel. And I said, okay, that is definitely out the window. And I thought, hey, wait a minute. I used to, when Hari, my son, was much younger, I used to tell stories and make him draw. With the characters that I said and whatever else. And I said, why don't I get children to do it? I'm sure nobody has ever thought of asking, even if it's a children's book, they get a professional, they get an adult to actually illustrate it. And that's fine. That's definitely the way to do it. But I thought, why don't I just use children? And I contacted more than 22 children, because when I divided my book, I had 22 pages. But I contacted a lot of children because some of them said they couldn't commit. The reason I contacted so many is I wanted every child to just give me one drawing, one painting, one whatever, so that they're not stressed out. This is not something to stress out on. I would do the stressing out in publishing it. But I didn't want them to stress out when they were going to be my illustrators. And I gave them the freedom to choose whatever medium they wish to use, whether it was watercolors, color pencils, crayons. And so, when they kept sending it to me, and they sent it to me quite fast, because there was only one that they had to do. So it was really not a stressful thing for them. And I got children as young as 8, and the oldest was 22. I also have some special children with different abilities, also contributing to this. And it was such a beautiful project that it took me by surprise how this whole journey turned out to be. And I was able to put the book together within a year, with them sending it to me, getting Fei Ku. Unfortunately, she has left her body, but she was very helpful to me in getting me, what shall I say, the printer. The creative direction is Fei. Design and layout. Yes, you need someone to design and layout. And thumbprint was the one that did it. And it was so beautiful. It happened magically, let's put it that way. And what I did, my bio is at the back because I'm not important, but the bios of all my illustrators are here. There are 22 of them, and I made them give me a short description. And look at the beautiful pictures. And because I just told them to read this bit, and whatever came to their mind, they draw. I wasn't going to tell them what I wanted. And so it's just marvelous, marvelous with the things. And this particular child was having difficulty drawing. So she made these figures with plasticine, and she put it on a table, took a shot and showed me. And I said, wow. I said, that is really, really interesting. Just 3, she did. And I said, now think a little. Like I was saying, after she made all these figurines, I just told her to think a little bit more as to where it can be. And so she went out to her garden. She put the 3 figurines. She took a close-up photograph, and she sent it to me. And I said, this is perfect. I said, it's got the garden and everything. I said, that's just perfect. And then she said, and then she put in this. I said, what is this? She said, those are the colorless jelly beans. I said, you're kidding. Those are the colorless jelly beans? Okay, they don't have the jelly bean shape, but it doesn't matter. We'll use our imagination. Maybe they were round. Who knows? That was a long time ago. I wasn't there. And so she gave me the picture. And that's what I used. And so you see, they are just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I want to look at this. When I gave this, there are 3 dinosaurs named. The child who did it thought of the mouth, the foot, and the tail. You know, I would never have thought of telling them to do that. And then we have, of course, Giraffosaurus, Camelosaurus. They were all dinosaurs a long time ago. Now this page. We have 2 Elephantosauruses. What happened was, I'd forgotten that I'd given it to one child. I gave it to another child. And both came back. And the one thing I told them is, there is no right or wrong. You don't have to worry whether your picture is good enough. If you send me the picture, it'll be used in the book. I guaranteed that. So they were not fearful, they were not shy. They just said, okay, Auntie Shanthini is going to use it. Whatever I give her, so let's make it good. So both gave elephants. And I said, interesting. So I asked Faye, I said, can we do it as a spread? Because elephants travel in herds anyway, so let's have 2 elephants. And she said, of course we can. So we had 2 elephants. And we have Monkeysaurus. This is an Antosaurus. Look at that. A menacing Antosaurus. And this is the jelly bean that wears a coat, the head of the jelly beans, so that he can be seen. and he tells them to do something. Okay, I won't go more. Anyway, all the pictures. Oh, this is so gorgeous. Oh, it's so gorgeous. But when the child who did this first sent it to me, he was thinking of me as the Jumping Jelly Beans facilitator. He had me in this picture. I said, just remove me and the picture is perfect. Because I said at this time, there were no humans. There were only animals, insects, plants. So, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so I won't show the rest. But what I did after that is all these pictures, I got them framed, and I've been to galleries, art galleries. I have put the pictures out, and I do the storytelling with the original pictures. And then after that, I have my book. It's for sale, but we are not here to sell the book. I will also be doing, I spoke to the people at SUGAM Foundation and found out they have like 300 over kids. And I said, okay, I would love to do storytelling with them, with using my book. And after that, giving out a copy. I still have some books with me. I printed in total 4,000 copies. I was very blessed. CIMB Foundation took immediately, my first 2,000 print, they took 1,000 copies and they said they're going to send it out to their schools up north in Kelantan, Perlis, Kedah. And I said, okay, that's a very wonderful idea, but you cannot just give a book to a child. It won't mean anything to them, especially if English is not the medium of instruction that they are taught in. And so why would they want to read this book? You know, I said, why don't we incorporate where I go to these schools, I tell them the story, and then I give out the book. At least it is more meaningful that they're getting it from the person who wrote the story, and they get to hear how a story is told my way. Everybody has a different way of telling stories. Like I said, I'm not one of those that reads. I always, what's the word? Not spontaneous. Yeah, I guess spontaneous. But of course, I know the story, so I just use my own words. Sometimes I don't say exactly like how it's in the book, but it tells you the story. And so that was so beautiful. So 1,000 books went just like that. The other 1,000, I went to various schools, kindergartens. I did a lot of kindergartens. They are very open to having a storyteller coming in there. And they pay a minimal fee of 5 ringgit a child. And then I give them a copy of the book. And so like that, I got the second 1,000 also taken up. And then I suddenly remembered, because with this ISBN number, which is somewhere here, this one, I actually have to give copies to the National Library, and I had forgotten. So I quickly took 5 books, that's what they require, 5 books. I went to the National Library and I said, I have to hand this in. And I said, is the director in? I would like to have a word. It happened to be a lady, I can't recall her name right now, but a very lovely lady. And when she heard the story of how I put this book together and why I did it, she was very intrigued. She said, you know what? We would like to take 500 copies and distribute it to all the libraries in Malaysia. I said, you want 500 copies? Okay, possible. I came back home and I said, we don't have any more books. Okay, so let's do a reprint. So I did another 2,000 copies, because to do 500 copies is not worth it. The cost, it's quite high. It's better to do 2,000, and I thought, I've already done it in various schools. There are so many schools that I haven't touched. I'll just go to schools and start doing what I did, storytelling plus giving them a book. If it was in some schools, I charged a little bit more so that it will cover the cost of my printing, but never, it was never an exorbitant amount. And even when I sell this book, it's only 20 ringgit. And it's very good quality, it's very good, it's worth the money, trust me. Now for SUGAM, I told them that I would be willing to do this storytelling for the children there. And let's see how it works after this festival is over. We will try and organize something where I do the story and we'll give out the books to the children at the storytelling session. And that's it. When I first gave birth to my one and only son in 1997, it was a beautiful experience. Even my pregnancy was a beautiful experience. And when I put a show together called Look at Me, it's a solo performance where I tell a story and then I sing a song that resonates with me about the story. And this performance I've done many a times just with a pianist, and I love doing it like that because it's simple, it's not with a band. Of course, it might have been better with a band, but I preferred it as just a very raw presentation. Raw, I don't know if that's the right word, but anyway. So this one, when I gave birth to my child and I held him in my hands, this is exactly what it felt like. The first time ever I saw your face, I felt the sun rose in your eyes, and the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the empty skies, my love, to the dark and the empty skies. The first time ever I kissed your lips, I felt the earth move in my hand, like the trembling heart of a captive bird that was there at my command, my love, that was there at my command. The first time ever I lay with you and felt your heart so close to mine, and I knew our joy would fill the earth and last till the end of time, my love, and last till the end of time. The first time ever I saw your face, your face, your face, your face, your face. Now, that song was actually sung by Roberta Flack. Now, why she wrote that song, I have no idea, but it feels like a love song between two adults. But to me, it resonated with how I felt when I had my child, because it was something short of a miracle. So it really, really got to me. When that song came to my mind, I said, yes, that's the song I'm going to do. And whenever I do this song in my performance, everybody is in tears. Okay? They're all, oh, Shanthini, oh, it's so beautiful. And they go on and on. But really, it just meant so much to me. So I just knew that was the song. So thank you, Roberta Flack, for writing that song. Hare Krishna.